Okay, cough, just set the tone. Let's start the recording. Hey everybody, Rebellion here, and welcome back to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Also, I yawned because... let everyone know you're still sick and sleep deprived. That's how we go in these things. Alright, summary of what last happened. Fantasy Pope did a decree, and then... attend Mafanla's Norn State funeral taking place in Ceres Plaza. Alright, that's it. That's right. We're gonna go attend a funeral for the person that we've known for... I technically think in-world... what? Maybe 3 to 4 days? I'm actually not sure how long at the time... because we went 1 day at our home village. 1 day here. Another one while they were talking... I don't know how long it took for us to go over there to deal with the matter at the border. Come back. Because that's like, what, maybe 5 days? Assuming it's all done rapid succession and there is no just time? Maybe, what, 5 days? I'm assuming 5 days that we've seen. But honestly, I'm not sure. From Between Titans, yeah. Could have been longer, but it just... on screen time, I feel like it's not been that much.
I guess they did call her a goddess. The state funeral makes sense. Shouldn't you be with him?
He's a boy. Best not to bother them at times like this.
I expected you to be more clingy. You really are different from her.
Actually, letting him be was more her idea than mine.
Really? Pirates? Get out. So wait, you're saying you want to go be clingy or what?
I'll burn you.
I kid. Sheesh. It's weird though.
What is?
I mean, don't you think it's odd? Normally, if a blade or its driver dies, it'll just go back to being a core crystal. So why is Fan just dead?
I did wonder the same thing. There's only one way I know for a dead blade to keep its physical form. Remember Minoth? I mean Cole. He was a flesh eater.
Yeah.
But Fan wasn't a flesh eater. I can say that for sure.
What's that?
That's the shape of Fan's core crystal. Well, how it used to be.
But now it's a triangle.
Rex and I are quite a unique case, but this is different still.
How is it different?
If a blade shares its core with another, its shape changes in a uniform fashion. In our case, the center part went to Rex, and the outer part to us. I don't know why that is, but it seems to be a rule.
But Fan's isn't like that.
Exactly. It looks more like someone stole her core, doesn't it?
That was quite the grand funeral ceremony. It spoke volumes as to just how much Fawn was loved by her people. The goddess of... what the fuck was that? Yubi? Okay, yep, never mind. It is Yubi. Alright. Fucking scared me for a second, but no, Yubi just knocked down a box in the living room that we had. Nothing was inside it. It was just an empty box, but he just jumped on it and then momentum just made it go the other side. The goddess of Indol won't be in an easy position to replace. Hey Rix, what are you gonna do from here on out? Yeah, Kitty Bean Kitty. Yep. It's an empty box, too. He doesn't care what we buy him, he just likes the boxes. If we're going to reach the World Tree, we need the Praetor's help, but... Master Rex, there you are. Praetor Almathas wishes to speak with you. He's waiting in the audience chamber. That's perfect timing, then. Maybe he wants to talk about the World Tree. I'm afraid I cannot say. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's get ourselves over to the audience chamber, then. Alright, Fantasy Pope wants to speak again. Let's see what he has to say, and... Like, I guess also this is the one time to ask the question. Am I the weird one for not wanting to trust the Fantasy Pope? After SMT and Dragon Quest most recently as well, I just don't trust really organized religion in video games in general. That's normally like the one thing I look at, like, yeah, they're the villains. Or at least they are one of the stepping stone villains. Dragon Quest had good popes, right? Technically, no. It was an evil pope that was being controlled, or it was a good pope being controlled by the antagonist, but even still, it's like, the pope's evil. Good to know. I think it was only after, like, a time skip or something that's like, oh yeah, no, now they're decent people. But still, like, the entire organization was like, yeah, do the evil stuff. And the Pope said, and they're like, alright, shit, I guess we have to. I think it was DQ 10 or 11 that I played. You always fight God, therefore you are always fight religion. Kind of, maybe. And no, that was Evil King. I thought it was Evil Pope. I remember the big hat.
My apologies. Did I keep you waiting?
No, not really. What were you doing?
I was cleansing the core crystals. It markedly increases their resonance success rate. Bonding with a crystal carries certain risks, you understand.
I know.
When I became the driver of an Aegis, this power was awakened in me.
So, I might be able to do it too?
Who knows? Different people are cut out for different things.
Right, yeah.
Now then, my work is done for the day. Come with me.
A special envoy? To Tantal? Me?
Correct. Behold. As a salvager, I imagine you are already aware, but this is Allrest, the world we currently inhabit. We make our home on Titans, moving in circles around the World Tree. And here lies the Great Void. This void came into being 500 years ago. It did not exist prior to that.
So I've heard. It's in our way anyway. It stopped us reaching the World Tree.
The Great Void is carved from the Cloud Sea by a monstrous beast known as Ophion.
Wait, you mean that thing?
Ancient Seedramon.
To be precise, it is an artifice, a servant of the Aegis.
Of Mithra?
So if that thing is Mithra's, then what did it attack us for? Doesn't make sense.
Ophion was felled in the ancient battle with Malos, sinking below the clouds.
Ah, dear Etiquette, gotcha. I guess I just associated the big
This
hat with
means
Pope.
someone must have revived it.
Correct.
And you're saying that someone was Zeke's home country, Tantal?
Yes. They gave Ophion one directive: to ensure that none approach the World Tree. They sought to prevent a repeat of the horrors of the Aegis War, so an obstacle was created, the Great Void.
How did they manage a feat like that?
As I've said, mankind is regressing. Only one artifact remains that can rescind Ophion's orders, and it lies in Tantal.
It's called the Omega Fetter, and it's guarded by the royal family. I'll take you to it.
I've prepared your envoy documents already. Your quest is to set foot in Elysium, correct? Malos and his ilk will surely seek the Omega Fetter for themselves. I would ask you to reach Elysium before they do, and inform me of what you find there. Do it as a favor for a once foolish old man, and so that people may have a future in this dying world.
How's it going, Meryl Gunner? Welcome. So, Zeke, you're going to be guiding us to Tantal, right? Sure I am. And Yubi? Please, Yubi? The keyboard? Not the keyboard. You can lay down anywhere. Don't choose the keyboard every time. I need to buy a decoy keyboard. Something you're gonna lay down on that's not my actual keyboard. But let's head back to our chambers before we talk it out. This isn't exactly the place for discussing stuff. Back to our room? Got it. How's it going, Angelo? Welcome! And but yeah, Evil Church is something usually overstated in games and lack of interpretation. Oh, he still caught the tail end of that. That's right, you did Eradicate. I read it. I forgot a lot of it, but I read it, I promise you. I'm sorry. But yeah, Evil Church is a predominant thing in RPG games that I have played. It's a trope, I'm pretty sure, at this point. But I do not know if all of it is supposed to be, strictly speaking, resembling of Christianity. That's the one thing that I don't think I have enough, like, evidence of. Granted, a lot of them really do have a pope figure if they are going to go for the evil thing of it. But I don't see it. I've not seen enough to make a blanket generalization. Let's just try to do in Japan. Yeah, I figured that's where it came from. That kind of stigmatism or just cultural norm had to come from somewhere, and Proud Zara came from something that Japan themselves had to go through. An evil person controls people easily controlled. Ah. Usually RPGs at least have the decency to make up a religion to portray as evil, as opposed to say, actual religions are bad. Yeah. Probably the most blatant one that we play regularly is SMT, I feel. And even then, they don't outright say Christianity, but they're pretty on the nose with the angels and all that. Yeah, a lot actually do have religions isn't evil per se. Just the leaders are guiding people who are seeking hope for religion to do bad things. Voice
We
acting?
can reach
Let's go.
Tantal by ship, but once we're there, we'll need to do a spot of walking.
So we're travelling with Shell, dear? Never thought I'd see the day.
I think you'll find I make a fantastic ally.
Luck of Zeke not so great. Bet we shipwrecked by tomorrow.
Cheeky furball.
We're all gonna die.
Hey, Zeke. You said before that Torna concerned you too. What did you mean by that?
What? Oh, yeah, that. I don't know about those clans, but Torna, the country that fell 500 years ago, they were the ancestors of us Tantalese. The people of Tantal are descended from Adam, the hero of Torna who escaped its destruction.
So, after Pyra fell asleep, Adam escaped to Tantal.
That's right.
That is the first I've heard of it. I have studied much history, but this story never featured. Most peculiar.
We're humble. Don't really like to brag about it. The only real trace left is in this here sigil of the royal family.
So why did you awaken Haze?
Because her power was of great use to me. Indol has found itself under attack from Torna a number of times. She was necessary in driving them back.
Really? Then why don't you seem to have any others? Blades, that is.
Driver though I may be, I am no fighter. Besides, I find the warrior monks here so reliable. They get the job done.
If you say so. I wonder, do you know why Torna are using the name of a dead country?
Jin was a blade of Torna once. Loyalty or nostalgia? Who can say? Perhaps both.
Is that really all there is to it?
You don't think so?
I don't know much about what happened while I slept. There are no written records, either. All we have is stories passed down.
And you think that is insufficient? History is a murky thing. Only those present can truly know what took place.
But weren't you one of those present?
And that is why I offer you my cooperation.
I guess we'll find out if we go to Tantal.
Right, let's head for the Goethe's Port. If we make it a leisurely walk, I guess. Why? It's been yonks since I last went to home to Tantal. What the fuck is a yonks? I've been thinking of Indol as my home for so long. Home so long now. Feels weird to leave. I want to enjoy my last moments here. You can be shockingly sentimental sometimes. I know, shocking, isn't it? Shut up, you two. Gonna take some Indol presents for the folks you haven't seen in a while. As if my old man would want any of that. British, slang for long time. Ah, gotcha. You know, after all of this voice acting, I would somehow really... I forgot British. I don't know why. Just like, oh yeah, I wonder if this is predominantly like that kind of writing style and stuff. But no, just slipped the mind. I don't know why. Let's get walking to the port. You could grab a swing of Odifa along the way. They don't have the stuff in Tantal, so this could be your last chance. I said shut up already. Is there anything that I actually want to buy here? Oh, hold up.
All friends returned safely!
A reasonable result.
Nicely done, chap.
I learned a new move!
Just let me know if anyone needs saving. More of me coming up later.
I feel like I've made a mistake throwing shadow puppets to the wind because fucking that time has not progressed at all yet. There's a couple of things that I need to get that I do want to take care of for side questing stuff. Oh, just as 4. It needs you. Do I have enough yet? I mean, that's
Don't worry,
another one now.
I'm great at support.
25.
traveling. Send me wherever you want.
Son of a bitch. We are one short of the 25. First of all, and a couple of others still need some. You know what? If only for experience. What's the... That one's a decent experience one. Alright, 24.
I withdraw reluctantly.
25. You're at 24
I
as
hope you
well.
pray for my safe return.
Let's get Godfrey up. So maybe
I'll
he
do
can
it.
apply for the 25. I doubt it, but we can maybe hope. Maybe Ursula as
Everyone's
well.
counting on me. I gotta step
Okay,
it up.
understood.
I won't let you down.
Her mission is much more complicated than previously thought. Why not more Ursula quests? Or did Reb do it all somehow? No, I didn't do it all yet. I'll probably do more of the Ursula stuff, but I'm gonna get some of the stuff here done first. Part of me wants to go more into the story, if only because I want to, what's it called? I want to do the skip that has been promised to me at this point that I can do, and I'm like, if I get to the story enough, maybe I can do the skip. And that's kind of what's driving me to go forward. After that, though, yeah, we're gonna do a lot more. And what is that icon again? Something wrong? Now this is a pain. They've only gone and stolen some of the Tamin robots roots that I've been growing, huh? Tamin roots are so nutritious and are prized for their medicinal uses. I've only a few were stolen, so it's not that big of a deal. But okay, that's right. This is the button for a quest. Yep, new mark missions. Gotcha.
Tensions seem high.
From what I gather, it seems an official summit is to be held between Morardain and Uriah.
A summit? You mean about the recent penship? But I thought...
Didn't Praetor Amalthus get him to stop and sort it all out?
Perhaps there are some discussions they would prefer Indol not to be privy to.
Besides, Uriah doesn't like to associate too closely with Indol. They'd hate to be seen as acquiescing to the Praetor's will. Got to keep up appearances, you know?
Acquiescing? You what?
Like letting him tell them what's what.
For such a spanner, you sure use some big words. How come?
Stop calling me that! Buzz off, kitty no-mates! Anyway, this summit would explain why Morag isn't around.
Indeed, she has much to attend to.
Shared sovereignty over Gormott.
Yes. I don't think anything less will be sufficient to placate them.
The Senate would never approve it.
I can overrule them by decree. Of course, I would need to secure Senator Roderick's cooperation.
Imperial decree? If it's come to that, well, then I cannot dissent. I cannot help but admire your courage, Your Majesty.
That means a lot, coming from you.
Acting Chairman Nira Nira.
Sorry for intrude. Is emergency, so Nira Nira take liberty of drop by unannounced.
You certainly look troubled, Chairman. So, what is this emergency you speak of?
Well,
I just realized you're right, Eradicated. Morag is gone, so the Corvin is gone with them. Planning to move to Austin? Nice, man. I actually never went to Austin when I was in Texas. I was kind of just like landlocked to fucking Houston due to not having a car and having no reason to go over there. Should be back in 5 minutes. You don't know that.
So, we can make our way to Tantal from here. I assume the Praetor has a ship waiting for us.
Hey, Shalad.
What?
Are we really gonna just leave Morag behind?
Who's leaving anyone? She's got her own priorities, you know?
Yeah, but still.
Anyway, her schedule is filled with official duties right now.
For sure. It's just a bit of a shame is all. You know, since we came all this way together.
I guess I know how you feel, chum. Huh? Speak of the devil?
Banner's going for the summit.
On top of everything, an assassination attempt?
If blood gets spilled at the summit, it'll mean war.
War's good for business, after all. I guess he wants to use that to get himself back in with the guild.
Why, that little? I was wondering where he'd slunk off to. What a sneaky git.
It seems acting chairman Nira wishes to take care of this incident covertly, to avoid it reflecting badly upon the guild.
So you came to us?
If we mobilize the army, the whole thing will become public.
Oh, I get it. So we're a more convenient solution.
I'm not forcing you. If you refuse, Bridget and I will do what we can alone.
Ah, come off it, lady. You wouldn't even think of dragging us into this, if you thought you could handle it on your own.
I suppose not. You know Bana as well as I. There's no telling what he might be plotting.
According to acting chairman Nira, several giant weapons were being built at the factory where we last saw him. And one of them is currently unaccounted for.
Giant weapons.
Got it. Besides, you know, we've got our own score to settle with him.
Thank you. It will be easier to focus on my duties knowing you are on the case. Good luck.
Leave it to us.
There are so many main quest things. What the fuck? Hey, you heard about anything suspicious going down at the Uriah Ardanian summit? Well, I saw these weird bird people. Not like Nopon, a bit bigger than that. And really, birdy looking? I think I saw pictures of them before in a picture book, but I can't really remember what they're called. Turkin, maybe? That's it, they're called Turkin! That's... No, thanks, that was really bugging me. But what would a bunch of Turkin be doing in a place like this? Much thanks. Alright. What about you? Soon will be a big summit talk thing, yes? Friend knows anything about suspicious things happening there? There was one request I thought was decidedly suspicious. We had a Nopon fellow asking about supplies of poisonous substances. I told him we do not handle such items here. Of course, he left soon after. But from what I hear, he's been asking around other places too. Who knows what he might be plotting? Much thanks. It was you. Alright. How's it going, BB guy? Welcome. My feeling I'm still kind of sick, but I'm dealing with it. Hey, you heard about anything suspicious going down in the Araya Ardain Summit? I do wonder. Myself, I am Ardanian, yet I live under the protection of Indal. And the Araya and the Gormati here, for instance, seem to get along just well. But just take a look at these lots. Clutching their tools of conflict and fixing one another with the coldest of stares. They can't even have a civil discussion, short of holding a banquet like this. Don't you think it's absurd? If they had the time to be wasting on such extravagances, they should use it to save their own suffering people. It does frustrate me. Sometimes I think the people running those nations could learn a thing or two from our camp. There's at least one or two that are up there, but let's see what we got else on the ground floor. Hey, you heard about anything suspicious going on the Araya Summit? Oh, I have a good one for you. Tora want more info. Some kind of ingredients were, with a monstrously foul odor, were carried into the Ardanian Titan vessel. The stench was so strong I can still smell it on my clothes. There were other ingredients too. Weird and wonderful, the lot of them. I don't know what they are for, but I can tell you, but it can't be your average recipes. Thanks. Are there some over here? All the way at the end? Yeah, there is. This one guard here. DD2 is quite funny, in which damage is just a question that you can easily say no. Hey, you heard about anything suspicious going down in the Orion Ardain Summit? Problem with the summit? A ridiculous notion. The summit will be held aboard this Titan ship, so we have no need to fear attacks from the outside. The door is the only entrance, and it will be not be open until just before the summit to admit Queen Rakra. We have not allowed a single suspicious individual to pass this point. As such, there is no need to fear attack from within either. Thanks. That does not really assuade fears, but alright, sure. No suspicious. Only people that we allowed through. That just makes it seem like it's going to be your guys' fault if anything does go wrong. It's something that you planned. Okay, it's on the other side. Hey, you heard about anything suspicious going down in the Araya Ardain Summit? Perhaps there are untoward intentions in the Mordain side. Frankly, I would expect it. But I can assure you that we of Orion have no intentions of trying anything funny. The word of Queen Rakra is absolute. We trust the Queen, and as she wills it, we gladly put our weapons aside. So there's no need for concern. Oh, I see. Of course, if the Queen ordered me to take up arms, I would gladly fight tooth and nail against those Ardanian dogs. You would want not to forget that. Thanks. Down to the DLC. Oh, that. People were complaining about that? I think it's more that they were complaining that a $70 game has $40 worth of DLC in it. Doesn't matter what it is, just that they have the option to spend more money on the product. To which that is the complaint that could go to several games. Tekken 8, even as much as I love it, has a similar thing in the store itself. Street Fighter has its own a bunch of money to just throw into things. Like technically, even excluding the $70 price tag, adds $10 more for that. If it's just full price games with DLC, what about Devil May Cry? It had a very similar situation. came out, there's a lot of DLC there, but it's all stuff that you don't need. If I remember correctly, the Dragon's Dogma 2 DLC is a lot of things similar to that. Say, if you want another example, Monster Hunter. It's some cosmetics, it is stuff that you can get in-game, character-altering stuff, things like that. So, like, personally, I have a moral issue with just a full-price game having DLC, but I also understand I don't have to buy it. Let's go up one elevation here and see if that's it. Are the same people complaining about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being the same, being what, $3 to $4 $70 games? I do complain about that. I will actively bitch and moan about that. I will own up that I am one of those people that's going to complain about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth being split up into several games that are all full price. Hey, you heard anything about auspicious going down in the Ardean Summit? Nothing untoward is going on the Ardanian army, I assure you. Those who have come to Indal belong to the Karag Imperial Guard, elite soldiers who have sworn solemn oaths to protect the Emperor. So if anything suspicious were going on, I'd venture it would have to be on the Orion side. I find it difficult to tell what those people are thinking sometimes. Thanks. Both sides are saying, we are not doing anything suspicious. No one on our side would do it. Which means all of them would think the other one is doing it, and no one suspects a third party in any way. Because to be fair, that's stupid and quite strange. Oh yeah, I understand that it's the weird thing for me. For me, I'm just of the mindset of, a full-price game should be a full-price experience. It's a flawed argument, it has a lot of holes, but it's my argument, I like to stick with it. Just think that if I buy a game for that kind of a price, I expect it to be a product with a beginning, middle, and end with very few, if any, loose ends. That's setting up for a sequel, something like that. And I find it irksome that Final Fantasy VII specifically is the one getting that treatment, considering that, from what a friend has told me, the first game did not even cover all of the first disc, added more content that was on the original. Improved graphics and visual fidelity, I understand it all. Just par for the course, make it look as pretty as you want. Just, it's not a full game then, if they're just doing it in segments. I would feel that, I feel as hostile-ish toward those about, say, brief tangent, but also, it's what I associated with in my head. If anyone remembers, when anime was first coming to, like, the US and the like, if you wanted to buy anything anime-related, you would have to buy these DVDs that had, like, what? Maybe 4 to 6 episodes. And it was, like, sometimes not even the full arc of what was going on in that topic. It was just, you had to buy them per episode like that for the full thing. And if you wait long enough, eventually, you'll get, like, first season, it's like 20. And guess what? Costs the exact same thing. Sometimes more. Things you know that, however unfair and stupid it is, people will still fall for it just because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Well, I'm pretty sure that the name Final Fantasy VII carries some amount of weight that people will buy it no matter what. I'm pretty sure it's also a very small issue. I had a talk with my friend a while ago that anyone that is willing to talk about problems with video games and their methods is already no longer the target demographic for general audiences. The fact that you are thinking about these things, putting it up, and wanting to talk to someone else about it means you are outside the scope of the general audience, because the general audience sees no issue. If the general audience had an issue, we would no longer have it. The old thing of money talks and vote with your wallet. People have voted with their wallet, and here we are. So clearly it's such a minor issue because those that are willing to talk are such a small demographic and subsect of the general audience. Soon will be big summit talk thing, yes? Friend, know anything about the suspicious things happening there? The Ardanian Titan battleship has extremely sturdy defenses. I doubt there's a single weapon in this whole port that could damage it. Besides, I hear the main conference will only be attended by a very select group of trustworthy individuals. I can't imagine how any miscreants could hope to get close to the VIPs to harm them, even if they wanted to. A lot of people are on edge, but I don't think there's anything to worry about. Thanks. I still think someone's gonna die. It's just a matter of who. Have you heard about anything untoward going on at the Orion Ardane Summit? There's certainly something not quite right going on. I saw a very large wooden box being transported onto the Titan battleship. It was accounted for on the inventory list, so most of the colleagues think it's no problem. But I honestly can't imagine what they would want such a huge box for. I'm worried about what might be inside. Much thanks. Surprised me that I still haven't finished Unicorn Overlord because the game is so long. I just want to play it, man. I think the thing about the uptick in video game prices is that it's gradual. People tolerate the raise in video game prices because it's admittedly slow. Games like don't cost 100 for another 5 to 6 years, and that I feel is a huge issue. Firstly, I'm not a fan of video game prices going up. Or at least video game prices going up with the current established quality of video games. And I'm not talking about visual fidelity. Please do not assume that. For me, a good video game is not pretty graphics. It's good gameplay, solid stability, a bunch of other things that go into it. And for me, if a video game costs $100, I would expect something pristine. But also understand that that idea and judgment call comes from $60 being the norm for so long, and anything above that, in my mind, being told it is going to be $10 better. It doesn't necessarily be necessarily a good argument or mindset to have, I understand. Uptick in price does not indirectly mean an uptick in quality, nearly ever. Just an uptick in cost to make the product. And increased development and budgets for games, I don't know if that directly correlates to an increase in quality of the product. More fidelity, more thought into it, sure, but more time in the oven doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come out looking perfect every time. You can certainly overcook things, and I'm pretty sure there are plenty of stories of video games that spend a bit too long just being mulled over and given a sort of inflation of features, ideas, and no one to cut it off and say, no, it's good, we don't need to go further. Until eventually the idea is muddied and just no longer what you wanted. Duke Nukem Forever? I've actually not looked into the development history of that game. I'd have to.
Bye-bye, daytime.
Oh, it's night
Master
now.
Pawn has worked hard today.
Oh, and the background music changed too a little bit. Soon we will begin, soon will be big summit talk thing, yes? Fred, know anything about suspicious thing happening there? In the current climate, I fear almost anything could happen. I can scarcely wait for the day when that huge, awful Titan battleship is gone from our shores. It pains me to even see such an unsightly structure in our beautiful city. I am sure all upstanding Indoline citizens resent its presence. Why can Moradane and Araya not cease all this foolish conflict and simply submit themselves to the will of Indol? Damn, that's a statement right there. Why are our neighbors fighting? They should all just listen to us instead. Though if I was to be critic of DD2, it's a pretty aggravating thing for me that their thought process of making the game better is taking away a good amount of good things from DD1 and DDDA, and letting the worst of them in. More or less all the old classes feel worse in the game, with the new ones are much better, which is stupid when the game has like 2 new classes. I would have to play the game to see what you mean about that, but I hope they haven't fucked with the Magic Archer, because I still love that class. I'm still debating if I want to do a different class or not when I eventually play it. Banner the Schemer. I don't think it's down there. Okay, it's gonna be on ground floor here. Good. Hoping the gaming industry stops doing high budgets like spending 100 million. I don't think they ever will. I think unfortunately big budget has kind of carved out a niche for itself of big budget. Obviously it's going to give a big return on investment. And those kind of games will always, I feel, be the safest bet of investments that you can make. Long-running franchises and just standard things. For example, Call of Duty. I cannot see a game like that costing less and still not turning a profit. And also, as Capricorn said, public traded companies need to justify their existence. Profits have to go up, and an idea I feel that gets populated in that kind of circle is more money in, more money out. Clearly it works that way. Where we've all seen me go into a casino, and that is not always the case. This is gonna be both Orion and Mordain would join forces to destroy Indol. No, it's just money laundering. But no. Right now, my biggest fear about video games is that they'll eventually cost like $100 for a standard product. And imagine some games that as they are now launching at $100 base price. And by then, I feel people would just accept that as the normal. They have to deal with it. And the more ground you give, I feel the more would be done until there is enough outcries. Okay, this is the new normal. And then we've lost 60. We've lost 70. We've lost 80. We lost 90. Who knows how much we lost, but that would now be the big number. Big at least at this point. Yeah, I get you, Angelo. I get you. Quite literally, the only reason I keep up with like newly released titles is because of this stream. If not for you guys, I don't know how much I actually would have spent on video games in the past decade. At all. We've gathered quite a bit of information now. Yeah, and plenty of it blatantly bogus. But there were some rumors in there that did bug me a bit. Some sort out the real dirt from the baseless suspicion. Ooh, detective time. First, we clear up basic premise. Who is targeting the Summit of Nations? Is former Chairman Bana, Master Pawn forget already? No, Tor not that stupid. Is traditional for deducing to start by listing information everybody knows. Proper flow is for Rex to think carefully and provide answer. Okay. On the next basic premise then. Where is the stomach being held? Motherfucking game. Massive respect for the brand Blue Crew. What did they do? They may have been FF creators, and for that I don't trust them, but they did make Luchador a class. Remember, had to pay attention. Shit! I was just reading shit and thinking about the topic we were talking about. You fuckers knew this! You knew I'm easily distracted by topics and I don't retain any information for more than a minute. You bastards. The lot of you. It was the battleship, right? If I remember correctly, it was the battleship. Then again, this is a single-player game. And I'm willing to bet there isn't much of a way I can fuck this up. Inside the Titan battleship from Mordain. Yes, that's right. It seems like Bana is planning on an assassination, but what method do you think he might be using? Poison. I think the method might be poison. Yeah, the ship's totally secure from the outside, and only trustworthy people will be attending after all. I guess the only method that really leaves is tampering with the food. But when would the poison be added, and to what exactly? That I don't remember them talking about. I don't think anything was mentioned about water, so I would have to say the main meal, but I also don't remember much about the main meal being mentioned either. And just because it's Xenoblade, I'd say water. You son of a bitch. That's true. They said exotic because like the ingredients they were bringing in were exotic. Yeah, I don't know how many ingredients are added to water for stuff unless you're making what's it called, a stew/stew. But who the fuck would do that for this kind of a meeting? I feel. That made me want the banquet, right? Yes, I can only imagine the VIPs will be preparing their own food. I'd quite like to see Morag and Bridget try cooking for a banquet. And someone was saying they must see lots of weird ingredients being carried inside, right? Indeed they were. Suspicious big box carried inside, too. I love the water. Well, I don't even know how to, like, say it the way they do, actually. Water? Something like that? Like, water? I just say water all the time. Fuck, I don't know how to say it incorrectly. Or incorrectly, like British people, I guess I should say. Could the strong flavored ingredients be to hide the taste of the poison? You're sharp, Rex. I bet that's exactly what they're for. The only question left is, who will be carrying out the poisoning itself? Let's see now. Odds are, there's only one person that's talked about this, so I'm gonna say the Turkin. Could it be those Turkin? The ones the girl was talking about? Vanna used Turkin as minions before. To remember from Artificial Blade Factory in Moradane. I can see how they might be more convenient for him than hiring professional assassins then. But, yeah, but you think Turkin know the first thing about cooking? I don't know about that. Listen, I think we're just going around in circles here. If we know somebody's probably gonna poison the food, why don't we go check out the battleship itself? Good point. Regardless of who's carrying it out, we should act fast if we're going to stop this plot. That's settled then. Everybody go to the dining hall of the Ardanian battleship. Can we get in?